on your income producing activity sheet, specifically letter H. That's what I get to teach you today. And so before we get started on letter H, which if you're familiar with your income producing activity sheet, it would be the 2 new bookings, okay? 2 new bookings. This is what I want you to do before you even start the education thought process this morning. Of course, let me know if you're on. I love to see your names. But I want you to just close your eyes for a second, and I want you to think, okay, if this were Monday morning, not President's Day, and I were getting up and I were walking into my building, my company, your organization. So you've seen all those really fun videos of Mary Kay Ash, and she would pull up in that really, really long Cadillac, and she would get out of her car because the Cadillacs had that front row seating at corporate, and she would bebop out her little tiny self, and she would just walk into the office, and you would see her just walk into the office, of course, very put together. So I want you to have that thought process. This is your company. If you're an upgrade challenger, you are building your organization, you're building your corporation, you're building your company with us. Now, what I love about Mary Kay is we're all independent contractors. So our company can look really big, it can look really small, it can look somewhere in the middle, and it can just have your name on it. So I want you to think that thought process is your name is on the door. What do you do every day if your name is on the door? Well, as I see with Terry and Melody and Jan, you show up, number one. If your name is on the door, you better open the door. And so opening the doors for business is plan number one, step number one. Now, what I want you to know is Mary Kay said, when we open our doors for business and we decide we're going to make a profit, we're going to spend our time wisely, we're going to spend our time efficiently. She said, what is the full circle mantra? It is book, sell, book, recruit. Okay, so book, sell, book, recruit. How many books were in there? 2 bookings, right? And there are only 4 elements. And so booking number H, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll avoid that one, right? Like I want to be really profitable and really productive, but that one seems like, oh, well, I've got to call people. I've got to make contact. I remember when I started Mary Kay, there was no text. Okay, so I know you've seen Jan's, bag phone on her shoulder, and we didn't have the bag phone by the time I got in Mary Kay, but there was no text. And so every single thing that we did to book, sell, book, recruit, it was all with a phone call. And I will tell you now more than ever, that human contact, even if it is not, face-to-face, make it person to person. So I know we can work the volume, but let me just say before we start, when we talk about letter H, you have to work so much more volume if you're texting only, social media only, versus making a human contact. Pick up the phone and ask somebody to book something. Now, Roxy last week, she said, she gave us a great booking script. It was dead on, baby. So that is not what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about making sure you have a lot of H on your IPA sheet, because I can tell you, I bet that if I look at the people who are profiting most in this business, they have the most of letter H. That's my guess. So letter H is, yes, it's mine, so I'm going to say it's the most important. But y'all, I really do believe that you can have all kinds of other letters on there, but unless you have a lot of H, then the rest is working harder, not smarter, okay? So let's talk about letter H, 2 new bookings. The first thing I want to talk to you about is this. Thing number 1, ask for the party, settle for the facial. Ask for the party, settle for the facial. Again, you can book interviews. Ask for the face-to-face interview, and then settle for filling out a survey. Ask for big and settle for small. Don't ask for small. This is your company, your name's on the front. It has to stay profitable for that door to keep opening, right? So ask for the party, settle for the facial. Ask for the career chat, the live one-on-one career chat, settle for the survey, right? So I really want you to think that thought process when you're thinking about bookings. The second thing I want you to think about bookings, and really this is the meat and potatoes of our training today, is decide what you want before you ever go into a booking. So now you have the booking. Let's make this a profitable booking, because I believe if you not only concentrate on putting more H's on your income producing activity sheet, but you make the decision at getting good at the appointments, at the booking itself, and at the process of the booking, then you'll never feel like you have to try to get the H's on there again, right? So that's the exciting part. I'll never forget when I was in DIQ, it was the first time I got it. Like my light bulb went off, I got it, and I started getting bookings from bookings. And so all up to that point, a year's time span, a little under a year, I was working harder, not smarter. And so when I started becoming a master at getting bookings from bookings, then everything felt easy. Everything felt easy. So that's what I want to talk to you about. Decide before you go into the booking what it is you plan to come out with. So many times we'll work ourselves up or psych ourselves out. We'll get our perfect script. We'll get our perfect list, and we will actually call for the bookings. Well, what if you called for the bookings, but you didn't have to call again for the bookings, right? So you do the appointments, and Autumn taught a phenomenal class on virtual. So whether we're talking virtual or whether we're talking in person, I want you to decide what you're coming out of that appointment with before you ever go into that appointment. So if I'm going to work it backwards, I'm going to ask myself this. Let's just say when I leave my appointment, whether it's a face-to-face or whether it's virtual, I want to make sure I walk out with 2 new bookings. That's what Mary Kay Ash said. So if you're doing parties and you have 3 to 5 people there, y'all, and you make a conscious decision, you're very proactive, you're very focused, locked in and focused on getting your 2 new bookings while you're there, you don't have to make booking calls. That's what I love. So if I'm going to walk out of my next party with my bookings, again, go visit Autumn's virtual class because I think she masters it. She nails it. But I'm going to decide before I ever even go into that class, how am I going to get these bookings? And I will tell you, my favorite thing always is to just take myself through a process-driven thought. I like to get a blank sheet of paper and put a circle in the middle of it. And in the middle of the circle, I put the question, what do I want? What do I want out of this appointment? Well, I'm going to put a couple of different things for this circle. I like to make an individual circle, so we're just going to talk about bookings today. I want bookings. I want bookings. I want 2 new bookings out of every single appointment. So if I'm going to go into this appointment and I want to walk out of this appointment with 2 new bookings, how? How am I going to get those? So I'm going to draw little circles out and say, how am I going to get 2 new bookings out of this appointment? Well, how do you think you can get 2 new bookings? Everybody can kind of look at their hostess. You can look at your strengths. You can look at what you're excited about. Y'all, I'll tell you, Mary Kay Ash said it. If you're passionate about it, you don't even have to be good at it. Just be excited about it, right? So when I look at that circle on my blank piece of paper and I decide I want 2 new bookings out of this appointment and I write that in there, how am I going to get it? Well, number one, I'm going to talk to my hostess before the party ever starts about getting 2 new hostesses, okay? So Mary Kay Ash taught us this a long time ago, and it doesn't matter if you're in person, it doesn't matter if you're virtual. You would talk to your hostess and you would just say, hey, again, I can always give you more hostess credit when you have 2 new bookings from your appointment. So again, we're going to have a blast doing skincare or color, whatever it is you decide to book her for. But I want to ask you, who are the 2 people you think would be the hostesses out of this group to get you extra credit and, of course, to earn her some free product too. So Mary Kay Ash always said, ask your hostess. So how much time, this is a question, how much time in your last appointment before the appointment ever started, did you ask your hostess who the 2 hostesses out of her party would be? And how much time did you spend on that dialogue? If I know my hostess and I'm already having a conversation with her, I would so much rather talk to her than 2 new strangers about a booking, right? So, I'm going to ask my hostess. I'm going to ask her, who do you think would be good at? Who do you think would have fun with it? And again, just like Mary Kay said, if you're asking questions versus convincing or talking, it should be an 80-20. You're asking, you ask questions, so you'll talk 20%, and they're going to give you answers, which is the 80%. The only way to be talking 20% of the time in the conversation with your hostess about bookings is to ask her questions, okay? How do you think I should call her? Just think of all the questions that you could ask your hostess about getting those 2 new bookings before the party starts. So again, in the circle on the blank piece of paper, what I want, 2 new bookings out of this booking. The first little circle I'm going to draw off of that, well, I am going to ask my hostess, How else? How else am I going to get 2 new bookings? Okay, pre-profiling. I love pre-profiling. When you pre-profile, what you can also do is say, hey, if you decide to either host your own event after the party or bring a couple people to this particular party, did you know you can also get free product? Y'all, let her host at the exact same time if she wants to, especially if it's virtual, right? So you would actually pre-profile and you would talk to the person individually. As you're asking her to attend, just say, hey, did you know that you could also get free product, or you can even invite 3 friends to this particular party and I can give you some half off product, whatever it is you want to do for the product, so, or the credits. And so pre-profiling is another way. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about all the ways that excite you that you could get somebody to book 2 new bookings out of this booking. So Wednesday night this week, my unit is going to have a retinol party. And if all my people bring a hostess to our retinol party, and you can do this Zoom, you can do this Facebook, but we've done that backup piece where we talk to our hostess, hey, do you know 2 people that you think would like to host this? B, you pre-profile the people that are coming for this particular hostess, and you go ahead and start planting the seed. And then when you're actually at the appointment, you of course mention it again. When I talk about booking parties, I always mention it at the beginning of my party and at the end of my party, and I try to put it somewhere in between. So one of the conscious rules, so the last circle will be, how am I going to mention booking at my party? I don't know about you, but when I was brand new, I would get all the way through my party and be like, oh, I didn't even ask anybody to book a party. And I would wonder why I didn't have parties when I walked out, right? So how many times can you mention booking in your party? I always like to mention at the beginning. So general rule of thumb, if you're going to ask for it at the end, doesn't matter if it's a sale, a career chat, a booking, if you're going to ask for it at the end, start talking about it at the beginning. So when I ever open a class, I just say, y'all, thank you so much for coming. I'm super excited. We're going to get this party started. And I'll tell you, my goal is to have 3 things. Number 1, I want you guys to have fun and learn a ton. We're going to have a blast. Your skin's going to look good. It's going to be awesome. You're going to learn a ton. Number 2, I want to teach you how to take home the products that you love tonight. So if you love them, I'll teach you how to take those home. Number 3, I want to teach you how to either A, talk to me about earning money in this business, doing exactly what I do, or B, I want to teach you how to get free products. So make your wish list big as we go throughout the party. And if you take home all of it, great. If you don't take home all of it, then I'll teach you how to get the rest of it for free. So I've said that in the introduction of my class. These are my goals of my party. And then I'll talk about bookings. So I'll talk about products in the middle of the party that we're not trying today at your second appointment or your appointment with friends after this. Then we can try that if you want to customize and talk about lips or talk about color or whatever. And then at the end, you know, when I'm doing my close, booking is part of it. So that's where I want you to really concentrate on H on your IPA sheet. Number 1, I want you to know that if you have a lot of H on your income producing activity sheet, odds are you have a lot of profit. It means your business is opening. The business with your name on the front, it is opening lots and lots of times. Lots of people are coming through that door, and that's what we want, right? Number 2, I want you to ask for big and settle for small. Ask for the party, settle for the facial. Ask for the career chat, settle for the actual career survey instead, okay? Lastly, I want you to get a blank sheet of paper and I want you to draw in the middle of the circle, what do I want? Because you've decided before you ever go into your next appointment exactly what you're walking out with. So for our all intensive purposes, we're talking about bookings. What do I want? I want bookings. And so if I want bookings, what are the 3 things? And you can put a lot more circles on your piece of paper on how you want to walk out with bookings. Doesn't matter to me. You might take extra gifts and you might do raffles throughout the party and you know, give them away for people who book on the spot. This is your business. Do it however you want, but decide before you ever go in, what do your circles look like to get those bookings? And so I'm going to talk to my hostess. I'm going to pre-profile. I'm going to mention it often in a class. Am I going to give away something for people who book a party at the party? 1 free item if you book tonight with me, whatever it is you want to do. But can you imagine that you never have to make a booking call again because you actually put an effort into really thinking through how you're walking out with these bookings. That's how people start to snowball their calendar, okay? So, y'all, happy President's Day. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see all the H's on your page this week. And I just want to welcome you to a full week of profit when you do decide to put those H's on there. So, y'all, happy Monday. See you, girls.